It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That, of course, is Destructor.
No, that was Wretch.
It's Wretch.
Wretch, not
No,
Destructor.
I was looking at the wrong screen here. No, it's Wretch, and that one comes from their Man or Machine release.
Newest.
Yeah, and it's been out for, 6-8 months now, and we want to welcome to the Classic Metal Show for a second time Juan Ricardo. How are you, man?
Hello, how you doing? Hello, everyone.
It's good to meet you in person.
Absolutely.
But man, there's a guy that has a long history and a very recognizable voice. He's a man in demand, especially with for his vocal abilities. And the guy is, he's recorded a lot of cool stuff for the Cleveland area bands.
I'm going to say, if you put Juan and Ed Stevens in the same room, that pretty much covers all of
That's
Cleveland.
every
metal
band.
history.
Yeah, that's it. they just team up and they just call themselves something different every other day.
They just call themselves Cleveland. It just covers it all.
I go to shirts with the band's name on it, so I know which band I'm singing for.
Very nice. Well, Juan, you obviously are a longtime Cleveland metal singer god, so to speak.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's always been with every band that you've been in, you end up sort of becoming the focal point of it. And I know your bandmates probably don't want to hear that, but your voice is very distinct, man, and it very much jumps out with whatever project you're in.
The thing is when you're growing up, that's what you dream of. You have all these influences and people that you really look forward to, and just you listen to. Like for me, it was Geddy Lee and Jan Anderson of Yes, and then obviously Robert Halford and Dio and Bruce Dickinson, and you just emulate those people. And I just been blessed with my voice and just wanting to take my own direction, have my own sound. That's what you dream of. That people go, that sounds like Juan Ricardo.
Right.
And that's kind of what I've been hoping for. And so,
well, at least you don't sound like Ricky Ricardo. But Juan, the thing is that you never seem to lose your enthusiasm for what you do, and the fact that you recorded this latest Wretch release, and this sounds just as, it doesn't sound dated, but it has the classic elements of classic metal band, Wretch, and it's like AC/DC, you don't mind if it has that same classic sound,
right?
know?
And that's a lot of things. I mean, when I first joined the band, I talked to Wretch fans. To me, it was important that they had this connection to this history of this band going all the way back to the 80s, and they were just like, they want, people want that classic sound to the band. So I was looking for that. I was looking to continue the tradition of the band and have that.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Certainly, yeah. Well, Juan, let me ask you just a vocal question.
Sure.
Because, and you've seen this with a lot of guys, they lose their ability to sing that upper register.
Right.
Now, you've been doing this, I've known you since, before even I was on MMS. So that's like 20 whatever years.
It's been a long
dude.
time, yeah.
And you've always been 4 octaves ahead of everybody else, and you're still
up
all
there.
the way up there. How have you been able to avoid the pitfalls of polyps and surgeries and everything else?
Well,
people?
It goes back. First off, I'm a natural tenor.
Okay.
So, in a sense, that higher register is actually my natural voice.
Okay.
So when I sing metal, to most parts of metal, I'm actually singing down.
Okay.
So for me, I'm actually in a very comfortable place. And then when I don't use falsetto, so when you hear these different high notes and you hear different singers, they're using falsetto to reach these high notes, that I don't. So I'm actually singing in full voice. And when I go up, I'm still in full voice. So there's everything's working, the diaphragm, my lungs, my whole, I sing a note the way a person should lift something. You don't lift it with your back. You use your entire body to lift something. So when I sing and I'm going for a high note, it's my whole body is going for the high note, if that makes sense.
Right, absolutely.
So then I don't have the strain. After I'm done singing, after singing an entire set, I get off and people start talking to me, go, aren't you hoarse? No, that's not. That's not. If you're singing properly, that's not it.
And it's so ironic because every singer is different, and it's ironic that I know singers that are absolute gravel singers, and they always have been. And I'll point to one, and I'm not shitting on him. I'm just being honest. Gary Meskill of Propane.
Oh, sure.
He's always been that's his voice.
I can't possibly do that.
He comes into a room, I don't care if it's 95 degrees, with a scarf on to protect his throat.
Oh, okay.
And then he leaves with a scarf on. No matter what the weather, no matter what the temperature is, he feels like he has to take care so that he can keep that voice.
Right.
And meanwhile, you're like, whatever. What's up? It's just amazing.
I go running, and in the wintertime. I think a lot of it too is, to be honest, is my lifestyle, which isn't the typical metal singer lifestyle. Like when I'm on tour, I go to Europe for a couple months on tour, and the first thing they do in Europe, obviously, if you've been there, is offer you a drink.
Right.
I mean, it's like if you don't take their drink, it's like a personal offense, and I have to explain to them, I don't drink. So I hand a drink to somebody else. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I work out all the time, I stay healthy, and it's just, to me, it's a lifestyle, it's a discipline that,
Okay, Striper. Jeez, oh, man.
Oh, wow. I love Michael Sweet. Please, stop.
Well, that certainly does play a big part.
It does. I think so.
But you look at people like a Ronnie James Dio. I mean that guy. He was known to be a big imbiber and
smoked.
And smoked.
And smoked,
He smoked,
The famous video of him behind the speakers smoking during the middle of the set.
Yeah, he liked to smoke his weed, He was big into the pot thing, but the guy never lost his vocal range or anything,
Loved it.
And you never you never heard any stories of him losing his voice on tour or even struggling with recording a new record or anything like that. You never heard of Dio ever having vocal issues ever.
Right.
And that guy was
all the way to the end.
All the way to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was absolutely amazing, and Rob Halford the same way. He had struggled there for a while with his vocals, and then I think he dropped a lot of weight. I mean, he was kind of husky
well, he got
there.
Sober too.
Yeah, he was husky there for a long time, and but we saw him. I think we saw him on what was the Master Metal tour?
Yeah, like 2010.
Yeah, and then we saw him again like a couple of years later, and he was probably like 30 pounds lighter and running around stage and sounded just fantastic.
That's
great. It was the weirdest thing too, because when we saw him, he was sluggish. He was wearing that big coat, and it looked like he couldn't move with the big coat. He was
right.
He was really doing the
I've
metal
seen videos
god
like
walk.
that. Yeah.
And then when we saw him, it was that British
steel.
the
British steel, where they played it front to back.
Front to back. He's running around the stage and
that's
singing.
Great.
He really got it together.
He's a real influence on me, definitely.
Yeah, well, that's kind of why I brought him up, because, guys like that, I'm sure you're a fan of, say, like a Jeff Tate of Queensryche.
Absolutely, yeah.
Who, unfortunately, he's another one. He likes to drink his wine. He likes to smoke his cigarettes, and it's taking a toll on his voice, But then you get a guy like a Todd LaTorre, who obviously replaced him in Queensryche, and that guy just sings like Jeff Tate of 1982. It's amazing.
It's great. It's awesome. Yeah.
So if Jeff LaTorre were to bow out, would you be the next guy they call?
I would definitely. It's kind of those things that I get asked to do different. You think I'm in enough projects, right? But I get asked to do different projects all the time. But I mean, for me to do something beyond what I'm doing right now, it'd have to be a life-changing decision. It'd have to be something of that ilk.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah. Would if the money was marginal but the name was big enough, would that be life-changing?
I would
like
Queensryche.
Yes,
Queensryche's
obviously. A very big name.
Absolutely, I would consider.
Let's face it, you're not going to be making $10,000 a night either.
Right, exactly. I would definitely something like that. I consider. I've been offered different, auditions with different bands.
Okay.
On the marginal, and I always consider the thing. I don't need a sideways, to direction. You know, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something where it's something. A lot of times it's just completely something very, very interesting that I really think I have a feeling for and would bring something to it. And that was the reason I did the new Blind Cross album, because it was presented to me that they needed a singer, and it's a German band, and I loved the sound of the German direction they were doing, you know, that old school German metal.
Right.
And I said, you know what, I would be really cool in doing that. So.
Right. Are your other bandmates, are they cool with the fact that you're doing other things, or do they come at you like, dude, we should really focus on this. We just put this record out. Let's work on this.
I mean, I try to be fair with everyone,
right?
And everyone is, you know, it's hard. It's bad to see a schedule, but really, if you think about it, not everyone's putting out albums all at the same time. There is albums, you know, everyone's like a 2-year sort of window, and so as each band falls into that in the window, I know that there's shows and a possible tour, festivals to do, and I appropriate my time for them. I mean, right now, probably my number one project would probably be Wretch.
Okay.
And, you know, then, you know, Sunless Sky, and, you know, I go kind of like that, depending on what's going on right now. Attacks has we're going to be started recording now, which is doing a show with the new lineup, and just, you know, I try to keep a balance,
right?
You know what I mean? So, and I think there is a little bit of that. I mean, people always think to themselves, well, what about us? But I think I'm very fair, and I'm always open to what they want to do, and they know I'm willing to go. I'm willing to play. I'm willing to record and to write. I have a love for the music, an energy for this, and just I really just. I don't.
If they don't like it, they can go get the growler on the street, right? Just go get that guy.
Well, what do you got coming up here in the new year in 2020? I mean, you got anything on the table already?
Yeah, I mean, I probably have 3 other releases coming out this coming year.
You and George Lynch ought to team up. He's got a release every other week.
Right. Well, there'll be, I guess, first off will be. The new Dark Arena album will be coming out next year that me and Tall Paul completed prior to his passing. It's mixed, going to be mastered, and that's called World of Horrors, and that's coming out in the coming year. And I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, obviously, he was a good friend of mine, a guitarist of mine for like 30 years, and so, you know, this is for him, you know what I mean? And there will be the reissue of the Attacks 20 Years the Hard Way coming up, and we will be recording a new album. 20 Years the Hard Way will be released this coming year also in 2020. And, of course, I'm in the middle of recording the new Sunless Sky record that was actually written by Tall Paul and me, who passed away, and now Tall Paul has been replaced by Alan Marcus, who's an incredible guitar player, and we are debuting our new lineup at Pure Steel Metal Fest.
Oh, next week?
Yeah, next week. Yeah,
very cool.
Yeah,
that's a great festival, man. 3 days.
Thank you.
It's all so solid.
Thank you. I just, it was one of those things I've always wanted to do, and it's not. I mean, I guess I got to look in the future. At some point, I'm going to stop singing. I mean, I do the A&R work, I know, but beyond that, I was really looking to do something for Cleveland. I mean, there was this, to me, I mean, you have the awesome Beachland show that Bill Peters puts on every year.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But as an A&R rep for the record label, I was looking for some sort of avenue in order to help promote the bands and promote the label. There's so many American bands and bands all over the world that belong to the label, and there wasn't a Pure Steel festival.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I said, well, why not Cleveland? I mean, what's more metal than Cleveland? In different parts of the world, you say Cleveland and you say Ohio, they think metal. And I think that the area should be proud of our tradition and proud of that. And so then I wanted to do something for that. And then it started for one day, and then I just got, dozens of requests of bands that wanted to play, so it went to 2 days, and now it's just 3 days. I have a hard time saying no when, these awesome bands say, do you want to play? Of course. I want you here. I want you. And each year I'm trying to get bigger.
Right.
This year bringing in Seven Witches. It's the reunion of Seven Witches.
Hellstar.
The Hounds from, from John Hessvander and that sort of thing. And
you got our very good friend Leather as the host.
Absolutely, Leather as the host. This is the thing here. This is the thing. The reason why there is because that last year I sang every night and was the organizer, which reminded me running around talking to people constantly, and was the MC. So I'm like, hey, metal voice in between songs. And I was like, by the end of the 3 days, I go, oh my God, I'm, there's a limits to this.
Well, I'm going to give you the best advice I can give you. Give Leather a wireless microphone.
I am.
We tried to do a video interview with her. And I stress tried because she literally was on screen
30% of the time.
30%. She was constantly
She was in the screen, and then she'd be off the screen, and then in the screen, and
that's great.
And then halfway in the screen, and
that's great. No, definitely wireless. I have her.
You talk about a ball of energy. Oh my God.
Yeah, I love her. Me and her definitely clicked off.
Great.
We did a show together a couple years ago at the Foundry. Us and Sun in the Sky, and really, got along and talked, and I've always been a fan. We did a show back 20 years ago with Attacks and her, and met backstage and talked, and we really got, and so.
She's good people. We both
absolutely,
love her to tears.
Absolutely.
So.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, being that you're a busy guy with all your recordings, and, obviously you're going to be performing December 14th for the food drive. You're going to be there this year? Or not?
No, I'm not performing then.
No?
No.
When
I'm performing for the festival, though. I'm playing Friday the 1st at Metal Fest with Wretch, and then Sunday the 3rd with Attacks.
It's hard to keep them all straight.
And Sunless Sky, right.
I got you.
The new Sunless Sky.
All right. Well, where can people find you? I'm sure you have social media,
yes, I mean all over.
And
there's
all that stuff.
Facebook for myself, the Facebook page, the Metal Fest page also, and of course I have the Juan Ricardo Facebook page, a separate page it's just business sort of things.
Just Google singer in Cleveland. It's in every band.
you catch me. And of course every band has their own Facebook stuff.
Right.
So
if you're a band out there without a singer, here's a guy for hire.
He's ready to join your band too.
He'll just knock out a disc this week for you.
I mean, all I do is just go over lyrics and songs in my head constantly nonstop because I don't use a tablet or lyric sheets or anything like that. I need to be free and run around. So
when's the last time you went just blank?
Oh God, I couldn't even tell you. It's been a long time ago.
Did you just get blank here or what?
I just went blank because I couldn't think of it. I couldn't think of it the last time it happened.
Nice.
Yeah. So.
All right, Juan. Well, we appreciate you stopping down and getting the chance to meet you in person.
Absolutely,
and all that
so great
stuff.
to see you. Absolutely,
and
to see you again.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what we'd like to do is close out this little interview here with something from Sunless Sky.
Okay.
And maybe we'd play. I'll give you your pick. How about either Stone Gods or Adrenaline Junkie?
Whoa. I'm gonna say Stone Gods.
What's the story behind that?
Stone Gods is basically an idea that the Earth has, that we're bad hosts of the Earth, and Earth actually has protectors that it rises up from the Earth and basically puts us in our place.
Oh, okay.
Well,
so
let's get Silicon Valley in their sites and end this social media bullshit.
So basically, the Earth is just going to shake us off like fleas.
That's right.
All right.
All right. That's what you get for drinking out of plastic bottles, kids.
That's right.
And Chris has a whole pile of them in his house.
I know. Look at him.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, Juan. So here it is, the Sunless Sky with Stone Gods exclusively here
on your classic metal show.